Good morning. Delighted to be here. David Saunders is my name, and I'm here to talk about my personal experience as a father, but primarily as a separated father. I was a young dad, and I became a father for the first time at 18 years of age. I then went on to have another child a few years later, and we bought a house. We were lucky enough to be able to buy a house at the time and moved in together, and we were a very happy family. The relationship started to break down over a number of years, and I ended up moving out of the family home 15 years ago. Where we were living together for many years. When I moved out, my children were 4 and 12. I had no idea, and I didn't know what to do about my relationship and how it was breaking down, and I didn't have the skill sets to talk or open up or share it with anybody. I was devastated when the relationship broke down, and I likened it to a grief. It was the death of a relationship, and I had no idea how to process it or how to talk about it. I was one of the lucky ones, however, in the fact that I didn't have issues with access to seeing my children. I never had to go through the court system, and I never had to apply for guardianship, so for that I'm forever grateful. When I left the family home, I was lost, terrified, confused, and I was guilt-ridden, and I carried that around with me for a number of years. I had no choice but to move back to my mother's house due to financial restraints, and I also needed to be around family at this time. I tried to contact local organisations at the time for support and advice because I was lost, confused, and deeply saddened, and I was offered horrible advice. It was made me even worse. I then tried to find out about mediation, and again the door was closed in my face because it was only an option if both parties were willing to engage, and that was not the case for me. I had no advice on how to tell my children about the breakup and support them, as they're the most important piece through this process, and to this day I'm forever grateful. I have such an incredible relationship with them. No one can prepare you for how lonely the breakup is and how lost you feel in a house that was once full of toys and children playing and children laughing and crying, and now you're sitting on your own and staring at the four walls with no one to talk to, feeling empty and lost. Will the kids be okay? How is it affecting them and their development? Losing some of your friends and your circle also because you were once part of a couple that went down, that's no longer part of the piece. To complete another mess, you become no one to advise you or help you about looking after your own mental health through this process. Men tend to listen to other men who've been separated, and they're not always the good stories, and it paints completely the wrong pictures. The complete and utter madness of trying to parent your children in your mother's house. You feel like a failure as it is, and it adds to the mental mess that is already getting to a very dangerous point. And as a man, not being able to hold your hand up in a safe space and just say, I need help, playing the game that everything is okay and fine on the outside, but on the inside you're crying yourself to sleep at night. I liken it to a beach ball underwater where you just keep pushing and pushing, but eventually it has to come back up. How can anyone parent in this situation? So, in many sectors, fathers are a forgotten part of the family, but they're equally as important as the mother. They've no support and advice and don't even know our rights around guardianship in a lot of cases if you're not married. All painted with the one brush in the terminology deadbeat dads is thrown around when nothing could be further from the truth. No advice or help for fathers who need it the most. The majority of men having to move back to the family home and try to rear their children in this environment. Need advice and guidance for fathers on how to support your children and what is the best way to support them through the breakup. Fathers want to be good dads and support their children, but we just need help sometimes, and we need to know how. I'd like to see a fathers network run by fathers who've been through the process to advise and support other fathers in this system. And clarity around guardianship and automatic guardianship. A proper mediation system to support the family. And through mediation, reduce the number of families having to go to court. Through a fathers network, a link to additional services, i.e. mental health services, children development courses, and maybe additional services that other fathers can avail of and support each other. A programme to help fathers to learn how to co-parent, how to be the best father that you can be with the time that you have with your children, and how your children develop through the varying stages of their growth. Support fathers, and also how to support a mother where possible to explain the importance of this for the children and the family's development, and better parental leave and fathers' rights around in the workplace, and housing for separated fathers and community supports. And we see through research and personal experience that fathers play a meaningful and complementary role to that of the mothers. Fathers influence children in meaningful, emotional and psychological ways that last a lifetime. Let's not forget to empower fathers too. Thank you.